Everyone, welcome and thank you for joining us today for Zimbra 9, Collaborate Like a Superhero session. I hope you're all super well today, and as Mariama said, my name is David Wilson, and I run a Linux consulting company here in South Africa named DC Data. I'm really excited to share some of the new features about Zimbra 9 with you today, so looking forward to it. So just a small background on our company. It was started in 2002, and we have a long-standing and successful relationship with Zimbra, and are proud to be a leading Zimbra reseller and Zimbra BSP cloud hosting partner in the South African region. Our company provides expert-level Zimbra support and can assist you with initial Zimbra sales discussions right the way through to technical aspects of Zimbra, such as capacity planning, platform design, architecture, as well as ongoing technical support and training. May I ask you that if you have any queries in the slides that follow, that you please save them until the end of the presentation and the demo, so that I may individually address them along at the Q&A session. Hopefully, I'll be able to answer any of your queries, but anything that I can't answer myself, I will escalate to my team and through to the Zimbra team also if necessary. So, introducing Zimbra 9. Zimbra 9's new responsive user interface provides a modern, simple-to-use environment that is enjoyable and increases productivity amongst teams. Zimbra 9's new third-party integration provides vastly enhanced extensibility. New Zimlets, which are now bundled with Zimbra 9, include built-in support for Slack, Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, as well as Zoom, and I've been told that there are many more still on the way. The new Zimbra 9 Zimlet framework provides enhanced levels of customization. Zimbra has improved the Zimlet framework, making it simpler and quicker for developers to implement their own Zimlets. Zimbra 9's server architecture features the highest levels of security, privacy, and data sovereignty ever. In addition to the new modern user interface that Zimbra provides, there's also still the choice of using the older previous classic interface, as it's called, that was available in Zimbra 8 and prior. So nice to know that there are those choices there. Zimbra 9's new modern user interface provides an updated experience that is consistent across all devices. And I must say, this is something that has worked extremely well for me so far. The fact that I can actually use the same interface on my own laptop or on my mobile phone is extremely important, and it works really, really well. Particularly over the older previous version, some of you might be familiar with the Zimbra Touch interface, which worked pretty well, but certainly you'll see once you've tested it yourself, there's a massive improvement in the new interface now. Extensibility is an important aspect of Zimbra 9. Instead of relying on a closed system from a single vendor, like other platforms out there may have, Zimbra 9 has built-in support with other best-of-breed applications such as Slack, Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, and Zoom, allowing a unified and central point to collaborate from. This level of integration with other popular platforms truly makes Zimbra a product leader in this area. Zimbra 9's new Zimlet framework gives you the power to customize your deployment. Using Preact, Zimbra's new side-loaded Zimlet, writing, testing, and deploying Zimlet is now easier than ever before. Zimbra has always provided the highest levels of email security, privacy, and data sovereignty. Adhering to strict standards of SSL, utilizing post-screen, SMIME, and two-factor authentication ensures that Zimbra 9 is a secure environment to collaborate from. Zimbra 9 is also about choice and provides us with the ability to easily switch between modern interface and the classic interface that was available in pre-version 9 versions. In the demo that follows this session, I'll show you exactly how easy it is to actually switch between the classic interface and the new modern interface. Zimbra 9 now also has more options around the branding side, and you'll see on the actual slide that's on the screen at the moment how clean that interface looks. It really is about making things fit to your requirements and making it fit in with your organization. And so far, it looks extremely impressive. So why upgrade or renew? Basically, I mean, if you have an existing Zimbra license, then Zimbra 9 is free to upgrade to. So there's no additional purchase price to upgrade from previous versions of Zimbra. If you have a valid license, then you're free to upgrade to the new version of Zimbra 9. Zimbra 9 now also offers improved protection against email security vulnerabilities. With Zimbra 9, there are new versions of Spam Assassin, CAM antivirus, etc., as well as the other rule sets, which definitely provide enhanced protection, which is extremely important these days considering all the threats out there. Upgrading to Zimbra 9 is super easy and simple. All that needs to be done is really just run the install script, and pretty much everything else is done for you. Assuming that you have your basic OS requirements in place, it's a really straightforward process. And also, if you need assistance with upgrading to Zimbra 9, my team can also assist you with that one, or alternatively, Zimbra offer the professional services upgrade package. And let's not forget, I mean, reasons for choosing Zimbra. One of the lowest TCOs in the industry, extremely scalable, scales up from 10 to 10 million users. Of course, security, privacy, and data sovereignty are always paramount to Zimbra, so always a secure environment. With Zimbra 9 now, the new interface, the modern interface, is extremely portable across multiple devices, so mobile phones, tablets, PCs, etc. Zimbra is also extremely flexible. We can run it on-premise or in the cloud or in a hybrid sort of environment too. So thank you, everyone. I think that pretty much sums up the slides that we were going to show you there. I think the best experience is to try Zimbra out for yourself. So I think let's just jump straight into the demo, if that's okay. And I'll quickly give you an overview of what it looks like.
Okay, excellent. Now we can head across into the demo section, the exciting part of today's session. I'm going to spend some time with you showing you some of the highlights and exciting parts of Zimbra's new release, Zimbra 9. So here we are sitting at the Zimbra 9 web client login screen. And you will notice straight away that there are some differences here. Quite a new, refreshing sign-in screen there. Definitely a much more modern looking interface. The same credentials, as always, are presented here, asking us for our login details. We also have at the bottom a drop-down box, which asks us to select a version. And of course, now there is an option to select Classic, which is the previous Zimbra webmail interface that we're all used to. And there's now an additional modern option there in the login, in the drop-down box at the login screen. So, of course, we're going to select the modern version for now, and let's log in and have a look and see what it looks like. So there we go. We logged in to the new Zimbra 9 interface, and straight away you'll see some significant changes there. A very clean interface, and I must say even just on a standard PC, as well as a mobile device such as a phone or tablet, the look is very consistent now, very refreshing look, very refined sort of look there, which is a vast improvement there. So the layout is fairly similar that we would have seen in previous editions of Zimbra. Our applications along the top. We also have the search bar, which everyone would be familiar with from previous editions of Zimbra. You have the ability to search in different folders or to perform advanced searches here, such as searching for emails that have specific criteria, so from addresses and to addresses, as well as whether a specific email has an attachment, etc. Heading across to the top right-hand corner, we now have the ability to go and set some profile details here, including the ability to even select a profile image. I haven't set one at this point, but quite nice that you have the ability to really personalize your own profile here. In the very top right-hand corner, we have the standard settings. We have the ability to change language also. And a new option here is to switch to the classic web app. So should we find we'd like to switch across back to the classic Zimbra web interface, it's a simple matter of just clicking on it here. And I'll show you now quickly how that looks. And there we go. Of course, we have now swung across now to the classic Zimbra interface. Again, switching back is as simple as going to the menu and then selecting the modern web app from the menu. Okay, there we go, back on the modern version of the interface. So let's start having a look at the various applications within the Zimbra web client and the Zimbra 9 interface. A very standard layout, so folders on the left-hand side, mails displayed here. You'll notice also that mails now have small action icons next to them. We can now click on delete simply by clicking on the small little trash can that is on each message there. Clicking on a message now, the actions in terms of replies and forward are now displayed as icons along the top of the mail. Also along the bottom of the mail, the same icons are displayed there too. Standard actions such as moving to trash, moving to a different folder if required. Actually marking a message as spam is also really simple now, just by clicking at that spam icon there. If we drop down the three little dots on the top right-hand corner, we also have the ability to block a specific sender too. You'll also notice here an interesting little icon here that's being displayed there, which is to start a Slack conversation, which I'll go into here in a couple of minutes' time. We can go through that in more detail. Moving emails around to different folders is really simple still, just like previous editions of Zimbra. It's a simple matter of just clicking the message and dragging it to the appropriate folder. Let's go across and compose a new message here. So this would be a standard functionality here. Again, Zimbra, as you type, will match recipients from your address book there. To move recipients around to different fields, such as a CC or BCC, the simple matter of just clicking on the recipient name and dragging it to the appropriate field. You'll also notice there while I'm hovering over a contact, my colleague here, his Slack status has been displayed too, and yeah, I'll go into more details on that shortly. When composing a message, you have the ability now on the top right-hand side of the screen of the Compose window to set specific preferences on that new message. You can go ahead and select different signatures. If you had multiple signatures, you can mark the priority on that message and request a read receipt too. When it comes to attaching messages, this is where things get nice and interesting now. You have the ability to attach from your local computer, so you could upload an attachment. You also have the ability to add documents and photos and files from other messages received. And yeah, this is quite a useful aspect of Zimbra 9. So if we select that, Zimbra automatically keeps track of what files came in via emails on existing emails, and you have then the ability to then reuse those attachments and actually upload them as an attachment onto a new mail. You'll see also some interesting options here in the menu, like attaching files from Dropbox and Google Drive and OneDrive, etc. And as I say, I will go into a bit more detail on that one shortly. Okay, I think that's it from the basic email functionality. Let's go across to our contacts. Like previous editions of Zimbra, this is standard functionality. You have your local contacts, really straightforward. You also have the ability using a search bar to search for your global address list contacts, so people within your organization, or even search for specific contacts. Something that is really, really cool is that you have the ability now to create a contact list. I've created a list called Linux contacts or Linux contacts. To assign a contact to a list, I'm just going to select my colleague here, Jonathan, and yeah, it's a simple matter of just assigning him to that list, and it will automatically add him to the existing list that I have got there. Alternatively, we can have create a new list and actually assign him to that one too. Let's head across to the calendar screen. a standard layout. What you'll see that is quite different in Zimbra 9 is that the tasks application has now been integrated into the calendar. Again, this is standard functionality for tasks. You can simply add a task, set priority on it, due date, etc. Yeah, I think it is quite useful having it integrated all into one place with your calendar, and that works nicely too. Like all applications in Zimbra, the calendar supports the sharing ability. So it's the same as your contacts too. If you have specific contacts folders or contacts you'd like to share or mail folders, Zimbra supports extensive sharing functionality around that. I'll just show you quickly a quick example on how to. So if I wanted to share my calendar with other staff members in my organization, I can simply right-click on the calendar, select share. We can then make it a public share if we wanted to. We can also just share simply to internal staff if we wanted to. Simple matter, I'll just type their names in, it'll auto-complete their names. And then we can assign permission onto the staff members. So standard functionality that was available in previous editions of Zimbra, now just really presented in a cleaner, simpler interface. Zimbra has always been incredibly powerful when it comes to collaboration features such as sharing documents and sharing folders and emails and calendar. And it's great to see that that has all been maintained in Zimbra 9. Something that is also really useful now with Zimbra 9 is that by simply right-clicking on a calendar, you can import and export directly from the calendar application. You don't need to do it separately through a separate application or through the actual preferences section. So yeah, really nice and integrated now too. And of course, we have the ability to select specific colors also for appointments. Creating appointments is a simple matter of just clicking on a day, typing in a title. Of course, that would just it'd be a quick add screen where you can just simply type in the basics. If I click on more details there, we can then add additional functionality or additional parameters around that appointment. So the date and time, repeating options around it, whether it should be private. So if my calendar was shared, this would mark it as private so that other people in the organization couldn't see that the specific appointment. Location, it's all very, very straightforward standard functionality that's always been available within Zimbra. Because we use Zimbra Connect in our organization for collaboration and meetings, etc., I have Zimbra Connect installed in our Zimbra environment. And of course, I can head across to that. And I've got a couple of my colleagues added here as buddies or as contacts. This is straightforward. Anyone that has used Zimbra Connect in the past will know exactly how this all works. But really straightforward, seeing my contacts online, starting a video call, a simple matter of just clicking the camera icon. I have the ability to create new groups, new spaces, to add new contacts to, new conversations with specific contacts if I wanted to. Also have the ability to create a new instant meeting, which of course is extremely useful for contacts external to our organization. Something that you'll notice is that with Zimbra 9, the applications are a lot more closely integrated now. A very similar look and feel across all the applications, such as the calendar and Connect and Zimbra Drive, which we'll go on to now. So it's really nice to see that it looks really neat and tidy and integrated now. Let's head across to the Zimbra 9 Drive application. As I was saying, you can see very neatly integrated now, a very consistent view across all the applications. Anyone that has used Zimbra Drive in the past will know exactly how this operates. Not too much has changed here, except that, as I said, it looks really decent now. So just a quick example of how things work in Zimbra Drive. If I wanted to create a new Office document, this would be a text document or spreadsheet document. A simple matter of just clicking on new, and we can just type in a file name for it. And then a simple matter of right-clicking on it will then give us actions that we can perform on it. What we would do here is then say open with docs, and this will then fire off Zimbra Docs. And we have the ability to edit this document with a lot of Office functionality all being present in Zimbra Docs. So extremely useful for being able to edit documents, view documents, and manage those documents on the fly without having to open up separate applications. Extremely useful. The same would apply with spreadsheets. That was just a basic text document. I'm going to click on that spreadsheet document here. And of course, a lot of functionality available here in the spreadsheet application here. We have the ability to then share documents with other members of my team, or these are the documents that are currently shared with me right now. I'll tend to be able to say, yeah, I can share documents too. And that's normally a simple matter of right-clicking on a document. We can say edit shares, and we can actually start sharing that document with other members in the organization and then set what permissions they have on that document. So as I say, extremely useful that this functionality now is available all in one environment. So those are the basic apps for now within Zimbra 9. Let's head across to the Zimbra preferences or Zimbra settings, I should say, for the web application. Let's go and have a look at that quickly, and I'll just go through some of the basics for now. Those who have used the previous editions of Zimbra, this will look pretty familiar to them too. Really just the basics are displayed here initially, but there is a lot of functionality that you can customize further down the line if we go into each of the menu options. Right now, I'll just go through some of the basics. On the initial screen, really just showing my quota usage, time and date formats, etc. The new option here, of course, is to allow me to set which Zimbra webmail edition I'd like to use, whether I'd like to always log in with the classic edition or with the modern edition. So, of course, that determines what is used next time I log in. Like normal, we have the ability to set various preferences here in terms of sending mails and all sorts of things. We can also set up a recovery account too. So if I forget my Zimbra password, I could set an external email account here where a password reset link could be sent to if I forgot my Zimbra password. Like standard editions of Zimbra, previous editions, we have the ability to set signatures, etc. Out of office is really simple to enable. Like before, can simply just simply type in our out of office message here and set a time frame for it. Filters, like standard and previous editions of Zimlet, is really straightforward. Can block specific senders, or we can even just file in particular folders. And we can then move our specific emails into different folders if we needed to do that. If we had blocked specific senders, then this would be available here. We could then unblock those sender addresses if we needed to do that. Zimbra 9 also supports some nice improvements in terms of offline mode functionality, and this is where you have the ability to go and set that. Now, heading across to some of the more interesting things now too in Zimbra 9, you'll see there are some additional options here under preferences now and our settings for integration with external platforms out there, such as Slack, Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, and Zoom. This is really useful now with Zimbra 9, knowing that we can now integrate with those existing best-of-breed vendors out there. It really makes Zimbra a fantastic environment to be able to operate centrally from and to integrate with those systems, to access files in those environments, or to interact with workspaces in a Slack instance, for example. This is extremely useful now. So this is where we would go ahead and we would normally just go and activate it. For example, here on the Google Drive screen, I'm not going to deactivate mine for now, but normally this would activate. Was then presented and simply asks you for your Google login credentials. You then grant Zimbra 9 permission to use your Google Drive, and then it is all set up and working. The same applies to OneDrive and to Dropbox as well as Zoom. And I think, yeah, it's really, really straightforward. I'm not going to deactivate mine for now, as I say. I'm going to just quickly show you how it integrates into Zimbra 9. So, yeah, I think let's go ahead and look at the mail integration. I'm going to compose a new message here. And when I come down to selecting attachments that I can attach to my new message, now I have the ability by clicking the paper icon to add files from my Dropbox or from Google Drive or from OneDrive. Let's go ahead and just use Google Drive, for example. And selecting that simply brings up an interface and allows me to browse all my files that I have in my Google Drive here. The same applies to, let's try OneDrive. And straight away, I have the ability to go ahead and add documents and files from those environments. Likewise, when viewing a message with an attachment, when I would like to save those attachments from the message and then presented with a menu to either download the message to my local PC, save it to my Dropbox, Google Drive, or OneDrive. I'm going to go ahead here and just select Dropbox so we can have a look and see what that looks like. And there we go. It gives me an option straight away just to drop that file into Dropbox where I can easily get to it again in the future. In terms of the Slack integration, you may have noticed a bit earlier when I hovered over a particular colleague's name, and their contact details would pop up, as well as their Slack information here. If I wanted to send a message to my colleague Jonathan here, I simply just click on the Slack icon. It'll redirect me and should prompt me to then type my message to Jonathan. This has popped up the Slack application locally on the PC. You also have the ability to then just use a web browser too if you are signed into Slack using a web browser. Also on an existing mail thread, instead of sending a new Slack message there, if I click the three dots in the top right-hand corner of a message, I can start a new Slack conversation based on that subject of the mail. So I'm going to do that now, and it's going to ask for me to select a Slack workspace. So I've just got the one demo one set up on this account. And really straightforward, then pops up our Slack application and allows us to continue communicating in that manner there. So I think it's incredibly exciting that Zimbra now has brought all this functionality across, really providing for a nice unified approach to integrating with these different platforms out there. So yeah, Zimbra definitely remains a leader in the area of email and collaboration with its modern interface, as well as the integration of other popular platforms such as Google Drive, Microsoft OneDrive, and Zoom. Zimbra 9 is really a fantastic platform, and that it's not only efficient, but it's also incredibly enjoyable to use too. So I think that is pretty much for today's session. Thank you so much to everyone for attending, and I hope you are as excited about Zimbra 9 as I am. Thanks so much for your time.